Okay, good morning. This is going to be our first formal session. So, we will review first on descriptive statistics, and then we're going to differentiate it with inferential stat, since inferential stat is exactly what you're enrolled in. Alright? So, what is really descriptive statistics? I wanted to begin with what is statistics, how it's used, no? But that's not really. You can actually just Google that if you want exactly definition, its history and everything. But let's just focus on, again, as what I have emphasized kanina, we are going to have statistics as a tool. But you've heard statistics, the basic statistics, even if you're watching basketball, right? There are statistics of how many shots were in, than what is missed with a certain basketball player. So when we say descriptive statistics, these are actually tools or statistics that are used to describe the basic features of the data in study. You are simply describing what is and what the data shows. What is and what the data shows. If I may go to our file on the state of the problem. Okay, so some of you may say, how can I formulate this problem? That's not actually the focus of this course, because the focus of this course is basically using statistics to help you determine if you have already your data. So let's say, for example, how can your question may be, how can I formulate those kind of statements? You will be helped with your research methods, teacher. Is that okay? You will be helped. How am I going to look for problems in title when I'm going to do now my thesis in MA? That is going to be the focus of your research methods. Alright? So in research methods, you will be introduced on, or if you're doing a study, you have already what to study, what you're interested in, your statement of the problem, you have already read, you have already formulated your questionnaire, and you have already gathered the data. After you gather the data, that's where statistics will come in. Okay? So I'm just putting this in context, right? Alright, so you have already determined how many people will be part of your study, all this. Alright? So ganun, no? So after you have done all those, then we're going to make use of statistics. So therefore, number one, we have already run down on this. I have already introduced what NMAT is, but let me just emphasize once again what NMAT. Again, National Medical Aptitude Test, I guess, no? Okay, so meaning that students who graduated from a BS Biology who would want to pursue medical school will need to take the NMAT. Okay? And so if you are a researcher interested in this field, maybe you'd ask, is there really an influence of certain factors for students to pass or fail, or in whatever results or whatever performance they will have in NMAT if they're graduates of BS Biology? So now you have stated all these problems. You call them problems. Alright? So basically you wanted to begin with what is the profile of students according to gender. So how many are part of the study? In terms of gender, how many men, how many women? So, but in research, we call them male and female. That's a technical term, no? When we say, what is the profile of the respondents according to socioeconomic status? How many are of low, poor, average, and the rich? But of course, as I've said, how do you determine low? How do you determine average? How do you determine high economic status? You have already done that before statistics came. Is that clear? No? So you have already defined that low socioeconomic status are these, whose monthly income are these. You have done that. The context of this course is that you have already defined all those and you can identify already those, and now we're doing statistics na. Alright? Okay. How many, or what is the profile of the students when they are grouped according to type of school? What is type of school? Okay, so now why am I asking you this? Because as a researcher, you are going to define what is meant by type of school. That's the reason why we say some of your professors will ask, how do you operationally define that? Because type of school, for some of you, would define type of school as public or private. But you may also define your type of school. I'm going to group these students according to the type of school they come from, depending on their accreditation status. Type of school 1, accrediting level 1. No accreditation. Okay, so operational definition. But in this problem, we will focus on type of school, public, private. Is that okay? And then we'll do mental ability. Because, so ma'am, how did you determine the 1.1 to 1.4? You call them variables. Okay? So, that's already defined in research methods, supposedly. What is variable? But just a review. What is variable? Something that will make us vary. I mean, these are the characteristics of certain subject of interest where our students vary, from the word vary. Okay, but if there's anything that a characteristic that does not that we will not vary, you call that a constant. All right. Let's just say, for example, here is salary a variable? With you guys, is salary a variable? Meaning that do you receive different salaries? Yeah. So what is the performance? I will be interested with what is the performance of MA students when I'm going to group them according to salaries. Because maybe that will affect their performance in statistics class. Something that you're interested. So again, salary is a variable. Okay? What is the performance of my students here when I'm going to group them according to gender? The men and the women, or the male and the female. So that's a variable. Alright, just a quick review of the variable, no? Alright, so mental ability is also identified as a variable. Okay, so what is mental ability? Or as definition, that's IQ. Okay? And so, ma'am, how did you determine that? There's a data for our students and like that. I'll just move until 2. This time, we are also interested in this study on what is the NMAT performance of the respondents when grouped according to gender. So, what is an NMAT? These are results already of the aptitude test. So now you wanted what is the result when they are grouped according to men, the male and the female. When they are grouped according to low, average, high. Okay, so why did I present that? Why did I get back to that? Because we need descriptive stats for that. Okay? What do you mean by descriptive stats? We wanted to describe what the data shows. I'll get back again to that document. What does the data show about gender? You need to describe. So what do you think? How are we going to describe the data in terms of gender? You are going to group them according to gender. So now you have already collected your data, no? You have already collected your data. Let's just say, for example, this is your data. Okay, look at that. It's your data. You see that? I'll just put it there. That's your data. Again, we have already collected the data. So let's just say, for example, I have 36 people, and these are their gender, that's their socioeconomic status, that's their type of school for each respondent. Okay, so you've entered Sarah, female, coming from average socioeconomic, and came from the public school. The mental ability is average. This is the academic performance of Sarah, 1.7, meaning the average, the general point average or grade point average of all the subjects in college. So, do you call that GPA or QPI? No, GPA there. So, we've computed the academic performance of Sarah, but you can also define this. Academic performance major only in BS Bio. They were in college. You can do that. But of course, we have said that you wanted to investigate math performance. Does this really affect is this something that is a factor in terms of the results in NMAT? Okay, ma'am, how would I identify? No, some of you may ask, how would I identify that math is also something that I wanted to investigate as something that I'm investigating as a variable in NMAT? This is where we say that before this data came out, you have done a lot of research and a lot of literature reading, and you found out that students who have high IQ or logical, which are developed using math or with math, are really maybe that those are the requirements for having a high performance in NMAT, and you wanted to investigate that. Is that really true? The ones I've read? So you've considered math, and you wanted to look into if math is something that really is a factor in terms of their performance in NMAT. Okay? And then you have the NMAT performance. Okay? So these are the things you have already established. Okay? So, again, when I look at this, the question is, how am I going to describe this data? How am I going to describe this data? So, your question number 1 in your statement, the problem is on what is the profile of the respondents when they are grouped according to gender. How am we going to describe that? When we say profile, you're just presenting how many? What is the data? Describe what the data is. So, tell me, in terms of gender, describe the data. What do you want as a description of this data? What will you expect? You have the gender there. If I'm going to present and to describe the gender, what are you interested in? The number. How many male? How many female? And what does that mean? Just frequency. Ihap lang, di ba? Ihap lang. How many male? How many female? Yun lang. Correct? How many male? How many female? And after we do the frequency, we are going to do percentage. Ganun lang, right? Ganun lang. Yun lang ang descriptive. Let's go to socioeconomic. How are you going to describe this? Because it's descriptive stuff. Oo, so number still. Count lang din tayo. So that whoever is reading the results of your data and how you are presenting, you will just present them. I have 5 average socioeconomic by 36. Correct? You are just describing. So, you use descriptive statistics. Tapos, kung maingon ta kung pila, frequency. And then, we present also percentage. Klaro ba? Na. So, that's the same with type of school. That's the same with mental ability, correct? How are you going to describe your data on academic performance? How are you going to describe? Numero man ni. Unsa man ani mo pag-describe? Kay describe man kaya. Oo, but nanay result. Unsa ni mo pag-present? Group them according to bracket. Very good. According to bracket. So you are going to define. You are going to define kung unsang gitawag nimo na poor academic performance. Unsa man ang academic performance? Unsa man ang leveling ana? Poor, unsa pa? Poor. In your school, how do you describe? 'Di ba? Outstanding, very satisfactory, poor, needs improvement. Right? Pero what is in academic performance, what is outstanding? If the highest is 1. If the highest is 1, what is outstanding? 1 to 1. Oh. And who's going to determine that? No morning outstanding. Could be the researcher, or you can follow Lourdes. No, you can follow Lourdes. This is the description of Lourdes. 1 to 1.5, outstanding. 1.6 to 1.2.0, very satisfactory. So what are we doing? We are describing the data because we call this Excel the raw data. No? You don't show this to when you have studied the entire West City Central School, you don't show, here's the result. Daghan kay gubot kay sa katanan. Raw data, this is still the dirty part of the research. You don't show that, correct? You show what is the data. Then you bracket. Outstanding, very satisfactory, poor. How many are poor? How many are outstanding? Are you getting that? How many are? So, what are we going to do to present that data? Frequency, how many, correct? Frequency and percentage of how many outstanding. Follow pa? No, how many, correct? What else? What else? We also present the usual average. Correct? What's really the average of people? Of the entire data. Right? Oo, that's the reason why we say, no, yung mga averages, ito yung measures of central tendency. Then you solve for the mean. Ba? Ano nga ba yung mean? It's probably the most commonly used method of describing central tendency. No? Okay, so here the mean is 2.0. Look at the 2, 3, 1. 2, we'll transfer this. Say for example, there. Let's say for example, ano ni siya, kanang, say tawag ani, kanang plato. 2 ka score. Score na lang. 2 nga score, 3 nga score, 1 nga score. What is the average? 2, correct? So the mean is 2. What exactly is the meaning if the mean is 2? Kasi sinasabi natin, when we say measures of central tendency, that means we wanted to look at if the data is flattened, what is it? So you look at that. I have less than 20 seconds. So I will just okay. So that's it.